Hey, Coach, you guys win the TEC championship, and I know some teams kind of think, well, you know what, we've accomplished one goal, and there might be a letdown the next week. But I watch your practice here tonight, and it seems like you guys are just as businesslike as ever.
Yeah, I mean, for us on the field, the last 2 years we won 9 last year and 8 right now. Hopefully we can pull some more off here, but for us, it's really been about getting ready for the tournament, and I kind of think it's a great atmosphere right now with our kids' mentality. It's like a whole new season. I mean, their energy today and yesterday was like, you wouldn't think it was week 10 or whatever, 11, and we've been out here, how long we've been practicing, but they acted like it was the first day. I mean, it's a lot of fun out here with them, and they're bringing energy all over the place, and the young guys are really working hard, which when you get into this time of year, you think that they might slack off a little bit and start looking on to the next thing, but they're not talking about that. They're just talking about the team we're going to play this week and how we can prepare for them. So, I don't know. I mean, we're excited that we won the conference, and it was nice to get it out right, because there were some pretty good teams in the conference this year, and so that's a great accomplishment for us. I mean, we feel good about it, but we have bigger goals, I think, and that's what we're working towards.
Is there a fine line in your preparation this week, just getting ready for that opponent, and also knowing that, as you said, this time of year, guys are a little banged up sometimes, and it does get a little bit long. How do you come out and practice to make sure you keep that edge and at the same time keep your legs for Friday night?
The way we do it is we lighten the load as far as just banging into each other and work more on fundamental stuff, and we change up some drills and focus on some different techniques. Kind of make the drills. We still do a lot of the same stuff, a lot of the same drills, but then we throw in little twists in there to give it something new for the kids, and they get excited about that stuff. One day we let them make one-handed catches the whole time, and you would have thought it was like Christmas. They were like, can we really? So they have a good time with things like that, and I think that just keeps it fun. But really, the kids have done it's different this year. Last year was very similar. I think as far as the end of season, everybody wanted to keep going, and I think that's the same culture that these guys have, and the belief that they can, if we do what we're supposed to do, that's what they believe, then we'll get the job done. And I think that's what they're trying to work really hard at. So I don't know that they're dreading practice or anything like that. I mean, we had to talk about it because I was expecting it, and I was way off. I didn't have to worry about it. They came in, and we've had a great week so far.
Coach, what does it take to make a deep run in a playoff? Because, again, it's win or you go home. What is the bottom line to make that success work?
I talked to a few coaches about it, and most of it's consistency. I think don't lose focus of what you do well, and don't try to change a whole bunch of things because of your opponent that you're going to play, because what got you there is what you should focus on, and so we look at the other teams we're going to play, and we look at what they're going to do, and then we adjust a few things there, and we add a wrinkle here or there, but we don't do a whole lot of wholesale changes or anything crazy, because if we're doing something we haven't practiced well, it's not going to help us in any way. So for the most part, my theory is that consistency is the key. So that's what we're going to try to focus on.
All right, let's talk about North Decatur coming up on Friday night. You and I spoke a little bit ago. You kind of look at their numbers, and they played some good football teams. They played some not so good football teams. What do you see in them? And talk a little bit about what concerns you the most on Friday.
Well, they've been in some battles. They've been with some really tough teams, and they're beating teams handily that they should beat. They're not making a whole lot of mistakes. Their special teams are really solid. They've got some quick kids, more than a couple of good offensive linemen, and I think their defense flows really well. I think they're well coached up front, and well across the board. I think they're well coached. But the record doesn't look as great. But they've lost to Milan, who's a fantastic team. They've lost to I can't remember who all we talked about earlier. North Central. I'm drawing a blank, but the teams they've lost to are good. I mean, they're ranked teams, so they're getting, and they're close games. They're not getting blown out by anybody in that. So that tells me that we're in for a real battle. So we are not taking them lightly at all. We're preparing for them more than I think we prepared for anybody, to be honest with you. And because we know that in order to make the next step, we got to get through this first one. And I think that they have a strong belief in what they're doing, and you can tell by how they play. They don't let up, and sometimes we see teams that do that, and sometimes we don't. And this week we're going to see that. So it's going to be a big battle, I think.
Yeah, you mentioned their quarterback and his ability to do a lot of different things with the football is a huge concern, isn't it?
Yeah, he throws the ball well and he runs the ball well, and they'll formation you to death, and they'll try to catch you in misalignment or something to that extent. And so communication for us is key. We're focusing a lot on that this week. As you saw, it was real noisy and everybody's running around. It was crazy and chaotic, and that's what we want to put them in, because if they can react well and talk and get lined up in those situations, they'll be okay in a game. So, and from the film you can tell the crowd's loud there, so we're going to go to a hostile environment, and it's going to be a good atmosphere for a football game. It's a long bus trip, and we're excited for it.
Hey, my last thing is, and you were talking about how many different things you're going to see out of them and what you're trying to prepare for. It's amazing what your defense is up against.
Yeah, and what's amazing to me is they're understanding it. We have a really smart group of kids on defense, and they communicate well with each other, which makes everybody smart, and that's what we try to focus on offense and defense. If everybody's talking to each other, the guy who doesn't know now knows. We want to make sure that happens, and they've done a really good job of adjusting and talking to each other and being in the right place at the right time, and that's all we can really ask of them. Their ability is going to take them so far, but ultimately it's going to be up here, and I think that these guys have got it up there.